It's time to think about the next section. One of the biggest lies gurus tell you is that you need 7 different income streams to become successful and reach your end goal. This causes people to get so caught up juggling multiple income sources and their social lives that they end up slowing down and losing their focus completely. You have 3 main limited resources: money, time, and energy. If you want to do this with me, grab a piece of paper and 3 different colored pens. Firstly, make a list of everything you do in your life. This should include everything. Now draw a graph like this and divide it into segments corresponding to the number of items on your list. For my example, that would be 6 segments, but for you, it could be more or less. First, use a color to shade in the proportion of money you spend on each segment every month. Then use a different color to shade in the amount of time you spend on each activity monthly. Lastly, use yet another color to show the amount of energy each task requires. You should have something that looks a bit like this. Here's the key: your resources will always be limited. While it might be possible to increase the amount of money you have, increasing your energy and especially your time just isn't possible. When I do this activity with people, it's amazing how much they spread their resources to all different areas of their life. Now, I do get work-life balance, but when you're trying to build your wealth at a quick pace, you really can't spread yourself too thinly. When I was building my first business, I put my head down and I worked like crazy. When I snapped out of it, I'd lost a large chunk of my social life, I was out of shape, and I hadn't spent very much time with my family. Now, was that healthy? Probably not. But did it make me successful? Very. I devoted all of my resources towards a single business for an extended period. Once I achieved my dream of becoming a millionaire, I began to restore balance to my life. However, in the early days, when I lacked money and a team, any distraction could have derailed my efforts. Focus is underrated nowadays. I see so many motivated youngsters jumping from side hustle to side hustle, falling for something that's known as shiny object syndrome. If I constantly switched business model every time something got a little bit difficult, then I'd have kept going back to square one and never made any real progression. So have a look at your graph of truth and ask yourself, could you give up any of the things that you're spending time on and allocate your resources elsewhere? Looking at this example, I'll get rid of TikTok, Xbox, and dating straight away. Now look how much more time, money, and energy I can allocate to side hustles. This will dramatically reduce the time it takes for you to achieve your dreams. There's a great quote by Jim Rohn that goes like this: if you really want to do something, you'll find a way. If you don't, you find an excuse. So if you want to close the performance gap, then you need to understand the difference between obstacles and excuses. This is you, and these are your dreams. Between you and your dreams are obstacles, and these are what you need to overcome to make your dreams into reality. Looking back on my younger years, boy, did I have it rough. I was dyslexic, and my teachers would often label me as lazy and stupid. I left school with no qualifications to fall back on, and when I finally entered the workforce, I was bullied by my manager. These were the huge obstructions between me and my dreams, but I never allowed them to be my excuses. You may also be facing huge obstacles in your life, but you must make it your mission to overcome them in order to achieve your dreams. Because if you don't, then those obstacles become the excuses that block the path to your dreams. And then you're just left staring at your biggest excuses with your dreams just out of sight. Excuses, not obstacles, are the single biggest reason for people never closing the performance gap. Whenever someone says to me, I can't do something, I say this: I know you can't right now, but if you could, what would you do? If you're ever facing an obstacle that seems impossible to overcome, try and ask yourself the same question. Come up with lots of different solutions and write them all down. The next step is to try those solutions. You might find that many of them don't work, but persist and you will eventually succeed.